tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Bloodborne, and join me, as always, Ashley Holby.
How you doing? Excited to be here. Talking about PlayStation. Now the pandemic's over, we can all go celebrate PlayStation outside, right?
I mean...
I don't know how you do that.
I mean, technically you could have just gone into your backyard at any point and done whatever you would like to do. Is there a specific way in which you would like to celebrate our Lord and Savior, Shihei Yoshida?
PlayStation. Nothing in particular, you know.
Alright. Well, there you go. Do that. In the trophy cabinet this week, a bronze trophy for three PSVR games, silver trophy for Bloodborne Rumours, gold trophy for Walking in The Last of Us being a thing in the TV show as well. Fucking hoorah.
Thank God.
And
thought it was just going to be crouching.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm glad they've got the specifics right. You know what I'm saying? Well, so I look forward to that. But firstly, let's jump into Bloodborne Rumours. So, love a good rumor. Sometimes they're really exciting. This one's exciting. So, PlayStation Lifestyle Writer Rumor, Bloodborne PC is done. BluePoint working on Bloodborne 2 and remaster of the first game. That's a fucking mouthful. Time to spin up the old rumor mill once again, this time about the much beloved PlayStation exclusive title Bloodborne. Xbox era's Nick Baker's back yet once again. Back once again, like the renegade master. You know that song? Back once again.
No, but you did perform it quite poorly.
So. Thank you. Okay, fair enough. Back here with the PlayStation rumor, corroborating details he and others have allegedly heard regarding BluePoint working on Bloodborne 2, a PS5 console remaster, and the PC port of the title already being done. Quote, I've already been told a couple different sources, a couple different things about Bloodborne. I've been told there's a PC port that's already done. He does not go on to specify who developed the PC port of Bloodborne, but the rumors of the title coming to PC have persisted for a while now. Continued saying, I think that what's happening with BluePoint is, I believe BluePoint is doing the sequel. He said, this would fall into the category of original content that BluePoint said it has been working on since its Sony acquisition. While not wholly new IP, hypothetically Bloodborne 2 would be its first quote-unquote original game from BluePoint. Continuing quote, and I think BluePoint might be doing the console remaster of the first one, I think. He reiterates that this is simply him corroborating other similar rumors people have heard with information he's gotten from his own contacts and sources. BluePoint's heavy involvement makes sense from the perspective of the company that did both the PS3 remaster of Shadow of the Colossus as well as the PS4 remake. The studio working on the PS5 remaster of Bloodborne would allow them to become intimately familiar with the game to do the sequel proper justice. What do you reckon? Yay or nay?
I'd say yay. I think it's probably pretty likely. Obviously, everybody's clamoring for Bloodborne 2. It's like one of those cult games, cult followings.
Are you saying I'm in a fucking cult? That's outrageous.
Yes, you're in several cults.
Wow. Well, the other ones.
Bayonetta.
Okay.
Nobody cares about that game except Bayonetta fans. Yeah, I think it makes sense, especially them working previously in Dark Souls, the remaster. Obviously, in the last few years, we've had a lot of success of like people doing remasters of games and then doing the next entry in the game, in the series. Obviously, Crash 4 was reasonably well received, even though it maybe didn't hit the heights of the first games. But I definitely, if BluePoint was going to do something, I think it would obviously be their next entry into a franchise that they couldn't necessarily get the original developers to come back for. So this makes sense to me. It's interesting because last week we were all thinking they're doing Metal Gear Solid, but
we've decided
this makes
now
more sense.
That's
kind of
a different developer.
I think it is because I think I heard later that some other developers like doing a remaster of 3 at the same time. It's like it's a weird time. I wouldn't be surprised. On that note, I wouldn't be surprised if Konami's just getting a bunch of different developers to just remaster all of them, and they can put them all out at the same time. At this point,
doing nothing else over there. So,
yep.
Why not?
But what do you think, dude?
I would say it's real. I think it's the kind of rumor that A is plausible enough that I'd bother bringing it on the show, and then B, I can safely say that yes, I do think it's. A thing that makes sense and something, of course, I'd be excited for. So From Software, of course, have said they didn't really want to do a sequel, and they've obviously moved on. They're now onto their third game. Because they went They did Dark Souls 3, then they did
Sekiro.
And now obviously
which you love.
Love that one. Love Sekiro. And then obviously they've got
Elden Ring,
which has been delayed this morning. Coming out
into February.
Yeah.
Thank God there's only 28 days in February. Otherwise, there'd be more games in February.
Yeah, I had a good joke on Twitter this morning. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but
yeah, I saw.
Good joke. Yeah, I thought that was a good one. I'm proud of myself. Pat myself on the back. Good tweet, I thought. When you do a good tweet and you say to yourself, "Oh, that's a good tweet." I bet you do all that time. Whenever you post a good tweet.
Yeah, all the tweets I actually tweet.
Yeah, like, oh, that's a good tweet. Yeah. That was a shower thought tweet. That one. Yeah, but PlayStation, I think, owns the IP, yeah. So it's fine. It's like there's no real reason to say that this couldn't happen. You can't be like, oh, but another company owns IP. If Sony brought it from, it's like, well, Sony owns it, so they can make a sequel. Maybe Sony had to work with to get permission. I guess maybe there's some dealio that would have to happen to remake it. I guess like maybe given the work that they did on the Demon Souls remake, even though again PlayStation owned that, but it was still like developed by them. Maybe after that, they're like, look, you did such a good job with that. Here, do your whole 4K remake, remaster, PC/PS5 version of Bloodborne, and at the same time, learn the ropes. But they'd already done a whole Souls-like anyway. They'd done the original. They'd done Demon Souls. So, that was like beginners, and now they're jumping ahead a few games and going to Bloodborne, which...
it does play differently. So,
it does play very differently, so yeah.
It makes sense that they would want to do a remaster or whatever of the first one first. So I think, yeah. What would you want from a sequel? Like, as someone who's never played Bloodborne, and it just seems like it's killing monsters and shit.
Oh no, it's hard to say. That game goes my understanding of that story is like very minimal because most of it you have to like dive into. Basically YouTube videos to where people have, gathered all the bits of evidence throughout the game and linked them together to explain. I mean, I've watched a couple of videos. People have done like full on essays explaining how all the Souls games are actually connected and, there's people, they're interesting to watch. I don't fully buy into all of them. I think a lot of it's just sort of random connections or like they've like
how all the Pixar movies are connected.
Yeah, it's like it's a reference. A lot of it I'm like, I think this is just them having fun, but nonetheless, they're interesting sort of videos to watch people do. But I mean, Bloodborne by the end of it doesn't really. I mean, that game. So the first half of that game is just very Victorian era gothic thing where you just like slashing away at monsters or whatever else, and then there's like a turning point about halfway through it where they're like, okay, it kind of goes full on in a Lovecraftian inspiration, and all of a sudden you're thrown into more of that sort of stuff. It takes like a really weird turn, and by the end of the game, the last boss is just fucking like who you end up. I don't know if it. Nah, I probably won't. If there is a remake, I was about to say I don't want to spoil who the last boss is because there's a twisty twist. Yeah, I don't really know. I would say I would just want something set in the same universe. Either it really doesn't need any connection. You can just have one that's set 1,000 years prior, 1,000 years before. Do that sort of thing. It doesn't really matter. Just go for gold. The hunt always happens, as they say. The hunt. So do that. But anyway, I'd be excited. I'd be excited to play the game again. Makes me wonder if I'd bother like fully committing to do the whole thing. Like if they re-released it and it has the exact same trophy list, would I want to go for the platinum again? I feel like I would. I don't know if I'd have the time or patience, but I would definitely want to play it because obviously. And I'm saying obviously because if it didn't, it wouldn't make sense. But obviously it's going to play at 60 now when they release the remake and not 30. So it would feel like a brand new game. All right. Let's turn on to Abandoned developer. So Blue Box responds to death threats. So this isn't... I know we kind of said we'd stop talking about Blue Box but until like something actually happened.
Yeah.
But I felt
is the response, please don't?
Pretty well. It's a whole thing. They kind of disappeared. Then this got posted the other day. I was like, why the fuck are people... Like, I thought most people forgot about them and were, like, leaving them alone. But apparently not. Anyway. 6 Access Rights, Abandoned developer, Blue Box Games has released a new statement on social media today, 2 months after its last posting. Yeah, so 2 months. It's been a while. The statement is not about Abandoned directly, but instead a response to death threats that staff members have been receiving from members of the gaming public. In a statement, it's mentioned that death threats are impacting studio members and their families, as well as other businesses. Blue Box has stated it will be posting regular updates about Abandoned through a blog. The full statement is below. So they say, the following message is not addressed as a company, but as a group of human beings. The last few days have been difficult. Death threats are increasing online, but unfortunately also physically, and this has to stop. We have been dealing with death threats for the past few months, and the last few days have been dealing with it again, especially physically. This not only affects us as a team, but everyone with our environments, other businesses, families, and everyone surrounding us. We want to work in a safe environment. With jobs opening, and with job openings coming up in the future, we want to offer a safe environment for future colleagues as well. We won't tolerate this, and we'll take action by providing authorities IP addresses, logs, and camera footage. We are fully aware of the negative situation we have created and truly understand your frustration, but what we don't understand about the death threats. We understand and appreciate your support for Abandoned. We are working hard on Abandoned. We'll start a regular blog on our website that you can follow, and we'll post any news on Abandoned on our Twitter. But we ask until then to just give us space and let us work on Abandoned, please. Thank you. Obviously, yeah, don't send death threats or whatever else. But the part that stood out to me was the whole the physical camera footage, all this sort of stuff. It makes me think that some people have tracked down
where they work. Yeah. So obviously that's next level. Like, not saying that sending death threats is okay, and I don't take that seriously, because obviously take that seriously, because you never know if it's the one fucking psycho that's not just people like, fuck, kill you. But yeah, it makes it sound like people have tracked down where they're working and showed up, and who knows what the fuck they were doing. But that's fucking some nasty ass shit. It's this whole situation is fucking stupid. You know, why are people so invested in this game one way or the other? And then, you know, to the extent where people are physically going to the studio upset. People, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. Like, the culture of like sending death threats is something that just desperately needs to be resolved. And I don't think there's anything that can actually do it other than like actual governments like charging people.
Well, they should charge people. So it should be the same as like people used to thought that swatting was perfectly okay, and then until people started getting killed by accident. Well, they got killed not really because of accident. They got killed because they were swatted, but then they were shot anyway. And then there was that one.
You know, the people in the SWAT team didn't. Killed these people.
But I was like, it's not like they accident. Like there was a cause, which was people fucking swatting people.
Yes.
And then those people, that one dude, remember they went to prison or whatever, like got charged and had like a big meltdown in a call and was like, oh fucking, it was just a joke, like whatever, fuck you, dude. So do the same here. I don't know. Charge people for sending. In general, I think that there was a whole. I mean, this is a whole conversation. Really, so we won't go too far into it, but I do think there's a whole interesting thing with like internet culture started like 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever. How long? I don't know, probably 10, 15, I guess.
Probably 30.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, when you say like online, when would you say online forums and stuff like sort of kicked up mostly? I would say like late 90s, maybe? Early 2000s?
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, message boards. Like, so message board sort of stuff starts, everyone has like fake usernames. You know, everyone starts like, becomes the thing with the internet is you don't have to be yourself. You have fake usernames. No one ever knows who you are. I can say whatever I want. That goes for a while, goes for a while. We're kind of coming out the other end now. And in more recent internet stuff, it's like more common for places to be like, no, you have to use your actual name. You have to use your real name on this website. You have to use your real name on this thing. You have to use blah, 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 blah. Some stuff obviously still lets you use usernames or whatever else, but there's so many more things now that we have to use a real name. But internet culture was so ingrained to people for however long of it's fake, it's you do whatever you want, no one knows your real name, blah 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 blah. So I think there's like a weird offset to that where people are like, make death threats, it's fine. But it's like, would you say a death threat to someone in their would you walk into someone's house and go, I'll fucking kill you, and like not expect there to be repercussions? I don't know.
Repercussions, yeah.
Anyway, don't send death threats, don't show up at Abandoned, fucking wherever they work. Just fucking.
I feel like our Australian audience probably isn't going to the Abandoned.
That's true. Probably can't leave the country currently. So yeah, that's true. We're big in. I don't know where they are. We're big there though. I don't know where they are, but we're big there. Yeah, and also I'm just like, who fucking cares?
Number
like,
one
I know it sounds
PlayStation podcast in wherever Abandon is located.
It's true. Number one PlayStation podcast in Abandoned Studios, I reckon. Wherever they're, I just don't understand because I'm like, no, stop caring about this game to a degree. Like I know, but like not in a like if it comes out and it's good and whatever else, cool. But at this stage, much how I said we weren't going to talk about it, but I felt like this was actually worth breaking that rule.
Yeah.
But it's like, just shut the fuck up about it. Just who cares? Like, we have literally got nothing but a bunch of teaser trailers. We never got gameplay footage, whatever else. Like, to a degree, I definitely feel like it's okay for you as someone out there who, like, felt like maybe you were getting fucked around from a weird marketing thing or whatever. That's perfectly okay. Like, you can go to them and be like, I'm sick of your bullshit. But you don't give them deference in response. You go, I'm sick of your bullshit. So I'm choosing to like unfollow you and not pay attention to your game anymore because you fucked me over. I think like that's a perfectly fine response.
Reasonable response, yeah.
To what's happened. Like just do that. Be like, I don't care.
Or tell them I'm never buying a game or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care
and
about
then cave later.
Yeah, well,
when it's
yeah.
actually good, yeah.
But for now, if people want to get angry, I understand that to a degree, but use your anger just to go, I'm not paying attention to your bullshit anymore. I'm not going to like your tweets whenever you post a teaser trailer. I'm not going to help spread your marketing stuff because it's all turned out to be bullshit. But don't send deference. That's how I go. All right. Let's turn those two negative stories into a positive one. PlayStation blog celebrating 5 years of PlayStation VR. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
No, right. I look back at the most PSVR most played PSVR titles plus insight from key creators. So Isabel Tomatis, Senior Director of PSVR, Esports, Peripherals, Marketing and Licensing. Talk about 16 hats. Today marks the 5th anniversary of the day of the PlayStation VR was introduced to the world. I want to take this moment to thank all of our fans and talented development community for embracing this platform and supporting PlayStation VR through the years. It's amazing to see how virtual reality has really established itself in these past 5 years as a platform for gaming, and we're pleased to have PSVR play as big a role in VR's growth. And to celebrate this PSVR milestone, we want to give you special thanks to you PlayStation fans. Starting in November, PlayStation Plus members will get free PSVR bonus games for no extra charge. Stay tuned for details in the PlayStation Plus update in the next few weeks. Since the PSVR launch, we've seen a diverse range of unique experiences that showcase the sense of presence we set out to achieve with this platform, including critically acclaimed games such as the thrilling sights and sounds action shooter Rez Infinite, the epic rescue mission platformer Astro Bot Rescue Mission, and the stealth action of Hitman 3. With more than 500 games and experiences available on PlayStation VR, let's take a look at the top 5 most played games on PSVR worldwide since launching 5 years ago. So, the games by playtime in hours, most played PlayStation VR games globally. Surprising. I thought number 2 would be number 1 to be honest, but here we go. Rec Room, number 1. Number 2, Beat Saber. Number 3, PlayStation VR World. Number 4, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR. And number 5, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. So that's globally, and just to chuck in it's sort of like a weird switch around of things here, but in the Europe one, which I feel like that's where we fall in, surely, they got Rec Room PSVR Worlds is at number 2, and then Beat Saber, Elder Scrolls, Resident Evil 7. So just a slight switch between those two. And I thought the only other interesting one that was worth shouting out, I guess, North America has Firewall Zero Hour in its 5th spot. Japan has Resident Evil
Job
as
Simulator.
number... Sorry?
4.
Job Simulator 4, yeah, that's true. And then Japan has Resident Evil 7 as number 1, and Gran Turismo Sport as number 5. And then Elder Scrolls and PSVR Worlds and Beat Saber in the middle of it. So, what do you think of the global list, though? Most played games?
Yeah, it's not... I don't think the top 3 are super surprising. I think, obviously, Beat Saber, the number 1 paid game. Because Rec Room was obviously a free title, so that makes sense why a lot of people would probably be diving into that. But yeah. I guess Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is kind of surprising. So many people played it VR or logged hours in VR. That's kind of... Why? Why would you do that to sounds like a terrible time.
So you got your...
All these Japanese people loving it.
Well, yeah. They love the horror games in Japan. You got yours, what, 2 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And what was the first game you played? I can't even remember. What was your
Probably
first,
VR Worlds.
to answer the question they discuss here, what was your first PSVR experience?
I mean, it was probably VR Worlds because obviously I think that came with it. So I mean, that's a pretty good start. But then I'm pretty sure I played Arkham VR,
Straight after.
just Batman, and then Beat Saber because Beat Saber is all the rage.
Yeah, see,
Still all the rage.
my first VR experience was PSVR Worlds. It was playing the shooty London Heist thing. And then I jumped out of that and I tried to play some of the Luge game or whatever that one is. And I played that for maybe 10 minutes and then I felt like I was going to throw up, so I had to take the headset off. And that was my my launch day experience there.
Yeah.
Weird to think it's been 5 years though.
It is.
Crazy.
So you'd imagine it will be at least 6 before we get PS VR 2.
Well, I can't remember.
Which is a pretty good life cycle for I guess kind of like a console.
Well, they from the
this
outset though, like this, it's not an add-on. It's like basically its own. Treat it like it's its own console. So you just need the PlayStation to plug it into. But it's no different, I guess. Like no one buys like a Steam VR or whatever that you have to plug into your PC and goes like, this is part of the PC platform. No, it's like you need the PC to run it, but it's its own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy to think, again, that it's 5 years old. It's like, there's been a lot of things recently that are like, time's been weird. Like, obviously, the other day at DC Fandom, they said Smallville was 20 years ago, it debuted. And today, they just announced that Emma from the Wiggles is going to leave. And she's been part of the Wiggles for 9 years.
Really?
That doesn't make sense. It feels like they only switched over recently.
What a tie-in. Oh, it's crazy world. PSVR's 5, Emma from the Wiggles is leaving.
Exclusive breaking news if you haven't seen it.
I hadn't seen it, so there you go.
Oh, yeah.
I like how that's the thing on the top of your mind to pull into this. It's like, did you hear about Emma from the Wiggles?
Well, I mean, it's big news. Big news today.
Big news today, yeah. It's cracking this morning. Yeah, so it'll be exciting. Hopefully, I'm still going to say PSVR's next year, so it'd be really weird if it's not, especially since we've discussed how they announced what the controllers and all this sort of stuff looked like because they were obviously sending out dev kits and so like shit's happening. It's got to be next year. It's got to be 2022. Unless COVID affected it that badly, but I still feel like the announcement, surely, maybe, if anything, it's early 2023 if it's not next year. Fucking, we'll see.
Yeah.
PlayStation.
What bonus games do you think, if you had to pick one?
Well, it makes sense for them to give away, in my opinion, just give away the top 3, right? Wouldn't that be cool? No? Or are they just the most played so you don't give them away?
I mean, probably. That makes it's like
but
everybody
that seems
played
them. It seems like the most PlayStation thing to do, for them to just be like, here's the 3 top most played, and then everyone goes, we've already played it, and they go, for the people who haven't though, it didn't cost us much. I don't know, it's either that or you just pick some weird, obscure type stuff that maybe be like, oh, these are the ones that I feel like are really good and haven't got enough exposure or something like that. I don't know, or pick stuff so they talk about Res Infinite, right? It's not in the top 5 most played games. Put that on the thing. Res Infinite is really, really good. That's still one of my favorite VR experiences. And that's not in the top 5 most played, but it is definitely one of the best VR games I've played. I know. Maybe just do a poll. Yeah. They should have just done a poll. What games do you want?
Maybe.
PSVR.
I would say Res Infinite's a good choice. Probably Moss, seeing as the second one's coming sometimes soonish. And then Falcon Age, obviously they've got that. They talked to Adaloop Games, so that might be a good one to include. Yeah.
Find out probably
in the next month or so, I'd say.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe by next episode, at least by the one after, so within the next 2 weeks, I reckon. Because it's November, so November's coming up hot. PlayStation Lifestyle Rights, PS5 screenshots and game clip captures to be shared through the PlayStation app feature currently in beta in limited countries. A new app has gone live in Japan and Canada that allows players to share their PS5 game capture screenshots and clips through the PlayStation app on their phones. Although this feature has only currently been tested in these 2 countries, it suggests they'll eventually make its way to all players who use the PlayStation app. So those in Japan and Canada who have the PlayStation app can download the latest update, which was released today on iOS and Android. They'll also need to make sure the PlayStation 5 console is linked to the app, is left in rest mode when not in use, and has the stay connected to the internet setting enabled. This will allow the console to automatically upload eligible clips and screenshots to the cloud, which will then be available from the app. Content cannot be uploaded manually, and only content created after enabling the app feature will be uploaded. So no previous screenshots or game clips will be uploaded prior to the setting being enabled. All uploaded captures will be viewable in-app for 14 days after they've been created. Eligible screenshots include those taken from the Create menu shortcut and those from the Create button shortcut. Those automatically taken at the moment of earning a trophy or capture during activity challenges are not uploaded by this feature. Gameplay videos are restricted to under 3 minutes long and have a maximum resolution of 1080p. Once they're uploaded to the app, they can be shared with PlayStation Network friends and parties, posted on social media platforms, or simply saved on the phone. PlayStation Plus membership is not required to take part in the beta, but it's unclear whether players will need a subscription when the feature fully launches. So I do think this is cool. I don't. It's not quite as good as the Xbox one, where it's simply just like whatever. You can just sort of just see everything that's.
All your stuff is like saved to the cloud. Or whatever.
Everything's just saved. Like they just use the OneDrive, whatever, like similar basically stuff to share, and then you can just like from your phone choose to send it to your actual OneDrive, send it to Twitter, save it on your phone, whatever. Like it's quite handy, especially if you want to post screenshots to Twitter without having to use the stupid onboard keyboard menu or whatever else. Or you want to post multiple pictures as part of one post and not singularly. So that is obviously the sort of benefit of this sort of stuff. I just still think this update is quite handy, especially if you, let's say you do a gameplay session, you take a bunch of screenshots, you get into bed, you're like, I might post a couple of those. They're going to be there. You can download a couple, and then you can do one of those Twitter posts where like post 4 pictures at once instead of just the one. You can write
or like when we do like an Apex session and we get into a bunch of funny clips or whatever, you can kind of download them to your phone, and you can like
as long as
cut them together
under 3 minutes.
Yeah, but still, you could like cut together on your phone like a bunch of stuff, or like do a thread on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. So if you want to use that scenario, which is one that obviously is a good example of how we would actually use it, because quite often when we finish an Apex session and I'm like, here's a couple funny clips, and I usually just pick one to share because it just takes too much time to cut it down or whatever.
Yep.
So it sounds to me the way I'd have to go about it, if I'm like, I want to quickly, I might get into bed and edit some of these clips together. So I would have, let's say I have like 5 different funny clips, and every time I've saved them, I've clicked save the last 5 minutes because I want to make sure I've got it. We would then have to quickly, before going to bed, I'd have to quickly go into those clips, cut out the first 2 minutes, so it's down to that 3 minutes, click save as new file, so they're all 3-minute files, which would then be eligible to be shared on the phone. However, then at that stage, you can turn the PlayStation off, get into bed. I could then...
rest mode.
Rest mode, sorry, yeah. Well, I always turn my PlayStation to rest mode. Come on, who doesn't? Buddy Watson over there turning his fucking everything off at the fucking wall.
Yeah. Sure, there's crazy electricity saving people.
Good. So then I can get into bed after that point. I could then download all 5 clips that I've shortened to 3 minutes, and then use iMovie or whatever to edit to one while laying in bed. So it is still going to be helpful somewhat. However, it could
be more helpful.
It could be more helpful, yeah, because there is still that preamble bit there of, well, I got to make sure I cut these 5-minute clips down to 3 minutes, or else I'm fucked. And you could be
they
like,
should just make
Dylan,
5-minute clips. They should just make it 5-minute clips you can download.
Yeah.
If 5 minutes is the preset.
Well, it's like, I just feel like most of the time, I said 5 minutes because I feel like most of the time, say we have like we have a fight in Apex where you're like, that was cool, better save that moment or whatever. I always end up clicking 5 minutes because I want to make sure that I've got it. Because there's always like, you never want to click save the last 30 seconds. You're like, that's not enough. Last 3 minutes. You're like, it might be enough, but maybe not. So better click 5 just in case. Because 5 always feels like the perfect, like, make sure you've got some end cap there. So anyway, it's still a good feature, I think. It's better than nothing, but so hopefully it comes out here soon, or jump into the beta version of it here soon or something. Press start writes a new gift right PS5 DualSense controller is extremely random. Can confirm it's extremely random. So Shannon says that while Xbox is out there making all sorts of custom controllers and consoles, the latest DualSense controller is just plain old white one with a red ribbon on the box. Initially, he'd thought that JB had placed the DualSense in some kind of gift section But nope, this is new packaging as designed by PlayStation. So the screenshot is from JB Hi-Fi's website. If you go there, you can find the PlayStation 5, PS5, PlayStation 5 DualSense wireless controller gift wrap packaging. However, it is $10 more than the normal version, although it literally is just the box that has a ribbon on it.
That we know of.
I know.
The controller could also be wrapped with a ribbon inside.
I mean, I'll be honest. If it's gift wrapped on the inside, it's still probably not worth $10. But at least then it makes a little bit more sense. Currently charging $10 more for an image of that someone found on Google Images. They typed in ribbon PNG and got one, and then chucked it over the top of the PlayStation 5 box, and they were like, $10 more bucks. That doesn't really make sense. This is dumb. I don't know why this is a thing. Anyway. It's really random.
Collector's item.
And also, yeah, well, that's... Yeah, if you want to be a psycho that does that, go for gold. Do whatever you need to do, I guess. But also, it's just really random that, like, here, buy a gift wrap, as they point out in the article. It's like, PS5 is really hard to get, so you can buy someone a gift wrap DualSense when they can actually get a PS5. But talking about PS5 selling, apparently they are. So Kotaku writes, PlayStation 5 ends Switch's 3-year run as the best-selling console. After almost 3 years as the top-selling console in the US, the Nintendo Switch has been ousted by Sony PlayStation 5. According to Matt Piscatella, an NPD analyst, the PS5 was the best-selling gaming hardware platform in both units sold and overall dollars in September 2021. So the quote from Things says, September 21 snaps the remarkable 33 consecutive month streak that Nintendo Switch was the market's leading platform in hardware unit sales. According to Piscatella on Piscatella? Oh my god. Who saw US video game hardware sales saw an overall 49% increase in September 2021 to previous September. That's fucking massive. This marks a return to the top spot for Sony's line of consoles, which held the top spot with PlayStation 4 before the Switch's run of dominance began. Last time the PS4 slapped the board as the top selling console was back in November 2018. So, even though they're really hard to get, apparently they sold so many in September, at least in the US, I guess, that they fucking smashed the Switch out of the way. And this was in a month where September's overall video games. So this is the thing; it's hard. We don't get official numbers, so you got to sort of like do weird sorts of things. But it's like they sold overall video game console sales were 49% up September this year compared to last year in the US, and the PS5 sold so many more, at least more than the Switch. So that's whatever it is. It's a fair chunk of consoles. So I guess. My one weird takeaway was maybe Sony wasn't lying when they reckoned they were getting more. Remember like a couple months back where they were like, we're getting more out. There's more out now. Or whatever. And it was just really hard to tell because it was like, is there though? Is there more PlayStation 5s out? Like it still feels like there's people constantly being like, I can't get one. But maybe there is more out there because they sold enough, I guess, to knock the Switch off. The Switch isn't hard to find, at least as far as I know. Oh, the OLED is.
But, yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, that's true. I think maybe next month it'll be the other way around, but... Yeah,
well, that'll be interesting. If it's a 1 month random PS5 at the lead, and then next month the Switch OLED knocks it off. OLEDs.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, the Switch numbers would have slowly dropped down, and, like, once you get the numbers out there, the PS5... I mean, the interesting thing is, obviously, it means PS5 is selling more than Xbox, you would assume.
But yeah.
Didn't see Xbox go to number one.
I don't think I've seen Xbox as number one ever. Like, not to be rude, but ever. I think that's the thing.
Yep.
But yeah, good job, PlayStation. Congrats on your 1 month victory, I guess. Alright, one little PlayStation production story. So, there's been a lot of Last of Us HBO shit going on this week. So here's your update. Footscray writes Last of Us is getting a TV adaptation, blah, 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 blah. In a new interview with BBC, Bella Ramsey, who stars Ellie, talks about the show and what it's like to be on set. She says that there are, quote, quite a few fans of the game among the crew who have all expressed how faithful the show is to Naughty Dog's titles. Ramsey says they've told her the set feels like walking into the game, which certainly sounds like a good sign. And then there's a bunch of new images that have been making their way onto Twitter. Even up till this morning, there's this Twitter account, PlayStation, The Last of Us Updates, at The Last of Us Updates. It's like a fan run account or whatever. They're doing like a constant sourcing and showing of like, fan video, people filming stuff or whatever. Let me break it down for you. Pretty much every picture, everything you will see on this Twitter account is of motherfuckers walking. Like, every picture. I don't think there's something here that's not. It's all people walking. I understand that's the show, but I just find it quite amusing. They're like, look at all these massive Last of Us updates that are happening right now. These massive Last of Us. Look how authentic the show is.
I mean, it's exciting that we're getting people leaking footage. Like, people going outside and like going to these movie sets and filming from trees or something, so you can get these overhead shots of.
That's true, I guess. Like
Bella Ramsey, Anna Torv, and Pedro Pascal walking. You would assume they're like a couple of episodes in to production by now.
Yeah. Did you see the people getting angry about Bella Ramsey not looking enough like the character? Did you see this thing?
No.
Are you surprised that this is a thing?
No. I saw somebody posting in like a forum that Pedro Pascal's not their Joel and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's not surprising.
Yeah, I saw like a whole thing where people were getting like really angry because now that they've seen pictures of Bella Ramsey in the costume, they're like, like the costume looks all right or whatever, but her face doesn't look anything like Ellie. Like, well,
I don't think there's much they can do about that.
Like, what do you...
Why do you care?
Like, she doesn't look exactly like a fictional character. Yeah, fucking no shit. It's so dumb. Anyway, but yeah, overall my takeaway is like the costumes, look good. The set photos and stuff you've seen, like the general sort of decay on cars, the smashed vehicles, the overgrowth. Like it generally looks very good from that sort of angle. I'm just laughing that there's so many. I don't know if it's just me finding something amusing that's not quite that amusing. It's just the amount of Twitter videos of like them just filming them walking. And then people like filming them walking, and that's like primarily all it is. Like I'm like, it's just so you know they're all going to be like those 3-second shots between, it's this whole thing. But people are like, there's
all these people chasing clout and shit. It's like, just let them finish filming and then you can talk about it.
They go there walking, fucking. And also, I'm like, they did that like whole thing where they released that first photo from them behind. That was the first official one. And then it's like, 3 weeks later, we got all these, like, our first official look at them in costumes face on is all these leaked photos from the set and stuff. It's like, maybe you should have just released a better one straight up, like with them facing the camera or something like that. At least then you would have had a bit more control over the way it's coming out. Because now I've seen them from every angle. I've seen Anna Torv from all angles. I've seen... No,
see, they're still working on fixing Bella Ramsey's face in post. So she looks more like the character.
Imagine if that was a thing. It's fucking... some people would be like, yeah, thank God, good. They should do that.
Yeah. They should do that in everything.
They should do that. So they always make sure the characters look efficient. Yeah.
Exactly the same
as you can. Yeah. Fucking dumbasses. That'll do it for this week's episode of PlayStation Explosion, Platinum Explosion. It's a PlayStation podcast. Anyway, let us know any comments, questions, concerns you've had about shows. Let us know if you like how they walk in The Last of Us and you're looking forward to watching the walking show. You can join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. You can tweet at us on Twitter, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. And if you thought the episode was worth a dollar and you'd like to support Ashes getting a new TV, head on to explosionnetwork.com.
Got nothing to do with it.
explosionnetwork.com/support. This bit will be running for at least another couple episodes, I think. And until next week, remember, every trophy counts. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.